Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
November 23, 2020, the We're Not in Kansas Anymore edition. First up, Bojo the Clown reaches Brexit endgame from the Financial Times. Unfortunately, Bojo is out of moves, and he is going to have to deal with the question of access to British fishing grounds, maintaining fair competition and enforcement mechanisms, and, of course, the Irish border question to reach a deal. He has shown zero interest in compromising, and he appears to be headed towards nothing short of disaster for the British economy by pushing a hardest possible Brexit and or no deal Brexit. So whatever you may think about Trump, Bojo the Clown is in full force. Of course, he will not have Trump behind him after January 20th, and Biden has made clear that he does not want the Easter Accords messed with. Next up, in a very interesting article from the Times of Israel, they say that an Israeli business intelligence firm led by the former head of Shin Bet Security Services has helped achieve a breakthrough in the investigation of a 2019 theft of jewels from a collection in Germany believed to be worth over $1 billion. Tuesday saw a massive police operation in Berlin with more than 1,500 police carrying out searches across the city and arresting 3. The work done to help break the case was around what many believe was an inside job on this company's or museum's security system. The Israeli group managed to establish contact with one of the alleged thieves on the dark net and offered to sell. The Israeli firm offered to purchase some of the stolen materials, and with that, they were able to move forward. So, interesting use of private help to solve a literally multi-billion-dollar theft. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal's Jet Airways is considering switching advertising agencies after more than a decade as an effort to revive its marketing and cut costs. Obviously, airlines have been one of the biggest industries which have suffered revenue shortfalls from the coronavirus pandemic, reducing budgets, including marketing, and changing the ads tone during the pandemic. Many in the airlines are struggling as customers stay close to home and are not traveling, and I certainly understand that. But looking to change the tone of advertising is going to be particularly difficult when cases are spiking up dramatically. The government, at least the U.S. government, is doing nothing to help control the pandemic, and it's difficult to see where you could go that might actually be safe. But perhaps a big change there. And finally, our lead story, you're not in Kansas anymore, and boy, ain't that the truth, particularly around movie releases. And this follows up on a story from last week about Warner Media deciding to release Wonder Woman 1984, and what this really means for the for media companies, for movies, for distributors, most prominently for distributors, because they're probably going to be wiped out by this as streaming services become more important and more critical in the distribution of movies and how money is calculated, indeed money made. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Warner Media does with Wonder Woman 1984 and the success they have over the Christmas holidays. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.